Good morning, guys. This is Mrs. Spence, and today there are two main objectives during intervention that I'd like you to accomplish. The very first thing I'd like you to do is get out your rough draft, and hopefully you're finished at this point. If you're not finished, continue to work on that until you're finished. Once you're finished, I need you to read it once yourself, very carefully. And I want you to check for things such as capital letters. Does each sentence start with a capital letter? Do all names of people and places start with a capital letter? They are proper nouns. Also check that all of your sentences end with punctuation. Do you have periods? Try to use an exclamation point. I'd actually like for you to reread it and see if there's at least one sentence where you think that your animal might be excited to share that piece of information. So instead of a period, it will end with an exclamation point. I'd also like you to see if there's any sentences that don't make sense, that maybe you forgot a word or you added an extra word in there that makes the sentence kind of unclear, so that you can make those corrections. Also check to see if there's any spelling errors. Once you have reread your own story, you will then find one partner to share your story with. Okay, you will switch stories with that partner and you will independently read each other's stories. Okay, before you do so, make sure you collect the third grade peer editing checklist. This is what you will use to edit your partner's story as you read it. So go ahead and get this now, pause it, get it, and then this paper, and I want you to follow along as I go through it because it's kind of hard to read on my screen. Okay, so go ahead and pause it now and get this paper off of the desk next to Mary. Okay, so you should have this paper in front of you, and you should be following along as I read through the checklist. Okay, first thing, again, as you read your partner's story, you need to be checking, do all of the sentences have capital letters? The directions say underline letters that need to be capital and are not capital in red. So you're going to need colored pencils for this. A red colored pencil, a blue colored pencil, and a green colored pencil. Okay. So capital letters, whoops, trying to make it so you can see it, should be in red. Whoop. And you're also checking if they gave their animal a name, it should be capital. All names are proper nouns and they need to be capitalized. The names of places, if they list the country that their animal lives in, it must be capital. It is a proper noun. With your blue colored pencil, you're looking to see, do all of the sentences end with punctuation? They should at least have a period or an exclamation mark. Okay, as I said earlier, I want every single person. I want their story to at least include one exclamation point. So find a sentence where the animal might be really excited, because remember, exclamation marks are used to show excitement. And underline an area in blue where you think maybe the author could use an exclamation point if they didn't already do so. Down here for spelling. Okay, you might not know how to spell every single word, but if any words stand out to you as being spelled incorrectly, I want you to underline them in green. Okay, they can check with the teacher, or if you think you know how to spell them, spell the word correctly, you can write above that word and spell correctly for them. Down here, make sure that all of the sentences make sense. Okay, if a sentence doesn't make sense for whatever reason, maybe it seems to be missing a word or it's unclear or you're not sure what the author is trying to say, I want you to circle the sentence with any colored pencil and put a question mark near it. That way the author knows to go back and reread that sentence and check to make sure it makes sense. Okay, I want you to make sure as you're reading it, ask yourself, am I learning a lot about this animal? Okay, are they giving me lots of information? The point of this story is not only to be entertaining, but it's also to inform you about that animal. You need to be learning about it. If there's a question that you think is important and you are wondering about that animal, but it wasn't answered in the story, share that with the writer. That way they can go back and maybe answer it if they know that piece of information. They can include it in their story, add it in there. And finally, at the bottom, it's really, really important that the author is making sure that you learn why the animal is endangered. Okay, so check to make sure they included that in their story. All right, and if there's anything else that you think the author could do to make their writing even better, just write it down here. Give them some notes. All right, make sure you fill in who was the writer. Whoops, the writer would be the person who wrote the story, and the person who's editing or reading the story to check for all these mistakes should fill their name there. All right? If you have any questions, ask 3 before me, and I look forward to seeing how well you were able to edit your partner's paper. All right, thanks for listening.